Hello there. Right. Happy Easter, happy Ishtar, happy Passover, or if you don't want to buy into any of that, happy Sunday. It's a lovely sunny Sunday out there. So, hope you're all enjoying yourself. Sorry there hasn't been a video for a while. I did intend to do more, but I've been in an interesting place recently, so I didn't feel like it was entirely warranted or healthy to do so. So, yes. I was going to do a series of videos talking about the year anniversary of lockdown and all of that other stuff that we were talking about in the previous video. But I think more importantly, I need to start moving on and taking the next step in this journey. So I'm going to briefly touch on what the title of the video is about. So are we at war? I mean, certainly I think we are legally or politically on a wartime footing as such. And are we fighting an invisible enemy? How invisible are they really? But for me, it seems clear that we are fighting this on many different levels. So there's the information war, there's potentially the biological war, there's digital warfare, there's sort of social or ideological warfare. But for me, the most important aspect of this in this last year has been the spiritual warfare side of things. Now, bear with me, because I know spirituality and that sort of stuff can turn a lot of people off. And don't worry, I'm not going to start brandishing this and quoting bits. Certainly not yet, anyway. Not today. But yeah, I mean, it can be distilled down realistically into its most basic sort of dumbed down form as just good over bad, light versus dark, positive versus negative. And that's kind of it really. I mean, I was going to go into the various scenarios and implications, looking at different groups' perspectives, whether you're in the kind of blue pill community, the red pill community, the black pill community, the god pill community, all of these different coloured pills people are swallowing. The drugs don't work. Well, depends on the drugs, I guess. Yeah, I think realistically, that always leads me personally to a place of negativity, and that can be very hard to get back out of when you start getting bogged down in all of that deep dive doom and gloom and despair and apathy and that sort of stuff. They're all lower negative emotions, and I think for me it's the legalism that is killing us spiritually. We are easier to control when we're in a negative state, and obviously with the amount of propaganda and stuff that we've seen recently, people are very fearful out there, and they're not thinking rationally, or they simply are finding it too painful to acknowledge the situation that they find themselves in. But often the situation you find yourself in is very much up here. The invisible enemy for me sometimes is the one up here. And that's the real battle. It's the battle of the mind, really. So how do we define spirit? I will do a more detailed video on this at another point, hopefully more regular intervals this time. But it is very hard to do to pin it down and define it and make it accessible to people. And I think this is what I've learned recently. I've certainly come at this from a Christian perspective. That was my upbringing, but I've rebelled against that for a huge portion of my life. And that has caused me a lot of emotional damage. But also I have to accept that subconsciously the programming and the indoctrination, for want of a better word, that was done to me as a child has informed a lot of my principles and my beliefs and my decision making, but it hasn't always led me to a place of holiness or peace or understanding. And it's because we said so, or it's rules for the sake of it. And until you understand those, they aren't going to make any sense, and you are going to feel silly and guilty and unworthy, and again all the lower kind of energy to it. So yeah, subconscious programming and beliefs can be very hard to change, and people tend to switch off at this point when you talk about spirituality or religion, or get bogged down in any of that. So I don't want to get bogged down in doctrine or dogma or ritual or rules. I am about freedom, and making connections, either up here or out there with you guys. And I can't do that if I'm held down by rules that even I don't understand fully. So yeah, in terms of the title of this video, the call to duty that I have received of late is to fight this war spiritually or positively by rising above. And in order to do that successfully, I have had to take a bit of time out to put my own oxygen mask on before attending to others, to use the kind of airplane analogy, not talking about the face nappies. So yes, hopefully I'm now in a stronger mental state to be able to share my journey a bit more with you guys, and hope that it resonates with you or makes some sense to you. And it doesn't have to be so divided and polarized, and the sort of the Tower of Babel analogy, everyone in their own camp saying, no, we've got the answer and everyone else is going to hell. Or I'm not about that, not going to do that. So today I am announcing a new series of videos for this channel that I hope brings back some meaning to all of our lives, and it spreads positivity, peace, knowledge, wisdom, hope and creativity to those who need it most at the moment, or didn't realise how much they needed it. And don't worry, it's not going to just be about politics or religion or philosophy or science. I mean, it'll touch on aspects of all of those, but hopefully in a fun and engaging way. And lots of different subjects, crafts, activities, inspirations, just to help me, but also to help you and help us all to learn to live our best lives and create our own positivity within ourselves or in our immediate environment, that allows us to rise above the intensely negative assault that we find ourselves under at the moment. And hopefully that can spread to others, so we can lead by example. Or to use the Christian analogy, you shall know them by their fruits. So if we can manifest those fruits within us through positive thinking, but also doing, you've got to do. And I think that's one thing that I've seen a lot of over lockdown is people's total apathy, and it's understandable. But we end up in a very closed, isolated, vegetative state, and we don't see the point. And I've bought quite a few things recently which I possibly didn't really have the money to buy. But when else am I going to get the opportunity? I have to live now. I'm not trying to live 6 months into the future, and I'm not trying to dwell a year or more in the past. All we're experiencing minute after minute is now. So I think it's about capitalising on those moments that we've been given and making the most of them, despite the circumstances. The carry on regardless, the keep calm and carry on, the stiff upper lip mentality, rather than meaning we blindly follow the rules. It means we create our own rules to live more fulfilled and peacefully in our own way. So yes, join me on a journey in search of fulfillment. Thank you very much. Bye for now.